Hello friends, welcome you all. Today we are discuss on the pest of minor pulses or minor pulse crop, that is the chickpea, cowpea, pea, green gram or black gram, also the field bean. Okay, there are some of the common pests which infest these all the minor pulses crop and cause a severe yield loss. Let us see one by one. These are the some of the major and minor pests of chickpea which infest the chickpea plantation or in a crop field and cause a severe yield loss. In that, the gram pod borer, cutworm, and the beet armyworm are the three major pests of gram or chickpea. This is the first major pest of gram or chickpea is also called as red gram pod borer, also called as pea pod borer. Okay, this is the Lepidoptera pest and having the four different life stages: egg, larva, pupa, and adult. After the male female mating, the female moth lay their eggs on the tender plant parts. Then after the incubation period, after the hatching from the eggs, the larval stages emerge out, and that larva is called as caterpillar. And the caterpillar of the Helicoverpa armigera shows a color variation from early instar larva up to the late instar larva. This is one of the peculiar characteristics of the larval development of Helicoverpa armigera. And then after the final instar, the larva goes into the pupation, and the pupation occurs in soil or in leaf or on pods or in crop debris. Okay, uh, let us see that this is uh, why the Helicoverpa armigera it is so dangerous. These are the four reasons behind this. That is the polyphagous in nature, strong flying ability, faculty to diapause, and high fecundity. This Helicoverpa parmigera is very polyphagous in nature. They have a number of hosts, near about 200 hosts. It may be cereal crop, pulse crop, oilseed crop, or it may be vegetable or fruit crop also. So this is the main reason behind this. Then the moth having a strong flying ability, it also another reason. Then faculty to diapause is there during summer condition. The caterpillar it goes into the diapause condition, that is nothing but the faculty to diapause. Then high fecundity rate, after the male female mating, the female moth is lays near about 400 to 1500 eggs in 7 to 8 days. So these are the four different regions, hence it is so dangerous. Then now, how the caterpillar of the Helicoverpa parmigera feeding in the gram or chickpea. After the hatching from the eggs, the early instar larva feed on the leaves by scraping the epidermal layers of the leaves and by making a, we can say that the white blotches on the surface of the gram leaves. Then after that, the late instar larva horosely also feed on the leaves, and the leaves become or the plant become skeletonized. Then after the flower formation, the caterpillar is also feed on the flower buds, and in case of severe infestation, as a result of feeding, the flower drop down on the ground. Then after the pod formation, the caterpillar of the Helicoverpa parmigera making a small circular hole on the surface of the pod of the gram and feeding inner content of the, or we can say that the feeding on the developing seeds of the gram. And there is one characteristics of feeding habit of this pest is that the caterpillar, or sorry, the anterior half portion of the body of the caterpillar remain inside the pods, and the posterior portion outside the pod or hanging outside the pod. This is the peculiar characteristics. Then in case of severe infestation as a result of feeding, the leaves become skeletonized due to the feeding of the early instar larva. Then after that, when this caterpillar attack on the pods of the gram, the infested field shows a number of circular holes on the surface of the pods. This pest is directly attack on the developing seeds, hence the yield is directly reduced and the seeds of the gram it become unfit for human consumption and cause a very much amount of yield in that gram crop. The now how we can manage the Helicoverpa armigera in the in the gram or the chickpea. Okay. Before we will going towards the management practices, the we can say that the economic threshold levels of the pest we should know. Here the economic threshold level of the Helicoverpa armigera is that the one larva per meter row or the one larva per 10 plants at a flowering and pod development stage. Then first technique in the management practices is that the monitoring. And for the monitoring purpose, we can use a two type of traps. The first one is a sex pheromone trap, and in a day condition, and the we can say that the light trap in the night condition, because the moth of the Helicoverpa armigera it is attracted towards the lights. Hence, we can use a one light trap per hectare at the evening condition from 6 to 9 p.m. only. With the help of this light trap, the moth is attracted towards the that light trap, and here this light trap we can use for monitoring purpose or mass trapping purpose. The next trap is sex pheromone trap. With the help of heli lures, the lure we can install in that sex pheromone trap, that is heli lure. We can install the two traps per acre for the monitoring purpose. Okay. Then in case of preventive measures, take up the sowing by second fortnight of the October. Then at the time of sowing, mix the 50 gram of sunflower seeds or 50 gram of jawar seeds along with chickpea. That is the one of the, we can say that the it is intercropping, nothing but the intercropping techniques with the help of jawar and sunflower. Then install the bird purchase. The bird purchase it is play very effective role to control the caterpillars of Helicoverpa armigera in the gram field. If you install the bird purchase in your fields, the birds it is stand or sit on that bird purchase and pick up the different installed larva of the Helicoverpa armigera and eat or eaten by them. It means that it is indirectly control that Helicoverpa armigera. Then in case of curative control, the hand picking of the grown up larva during interculture operation. It means that when you carried out the interculture operation in that gram field, through or with the help of the laborers, we can collect the larva and it will be killed by our own way. Then at the time of pod formation stage, spread 1 kg of puff rice to attract the birds for predation grown up larva. This is also the one of the new techniques. Then this is the HANPV, Helicoverpa armigera nuclear polyatosis virus. This is one of the biopesticides or viral biopesticides. It is very effective against the Helicoverpa armigera. Then this is the Nomura relay. It is the one of the entomopathogenic fungus or one of the biopesticides is also effective against the near about all the caterpillars. Then these are the some of the recommended insecticides which we can use to control the Helicoverpa armigera in near about all the crops. That is the spinosad, fluorendamide, chlorantraniliprole, emamectin benzoates. We can spray with the help of this chemical with a recommended dose at a regular interval. The next pest is beet armyworm, Spodoptera exigua. This is also the Lepidoptera pest. After the male-female mating, the female moth of the Spodoptera exigua lay their eggs in masses on the surface of the leaves, and after the hatching from the eggs, the caterpillar is emerged out of the caterpillar. It is totally greenish in color. Then larva goes into the pupation and pupation occurs in soil. I have told you the the moth lay their eggs in masses. So after hatching from the eggs, the early installed larva of this Spodoptera exigua, it is feed in a group and it is voraciously feeder on the leaves by scraping the epidermal layers of the leaves, and the leaves become, you can say that this scrotchy in appearance or white blotches present on white blotches appears on the infested leaves. Then this caterpillar is also attack on the tender shoots. They also feed on that leaves. tender shoots and leaves. As a result of feeding, in case of severe infestation, the leaves become skeletonized or the plant becomes skeletonized, and yield is indirectly reduced of that plant because due to this skeletonization or due to the attack on the or scrapping the epidermal layers of the leaves, it directly affect on the photosynthetic rate, and the photosynthetic rate is reduced and yield is indirectly reduced. For the management practices for wheat armyworm, these are the two recommended insecticides, that is the novaluron and lambda cyhalothrin. We can spray with the help of these chemicals with a recommended dose at a regular interval. The next and major pest of the gram is cutworm. The name itself indicates that cutworm. This pest belongs to the order of Lepidoptera, and the damaging stage is caterpillar. The caterpillar cut the seedling from ground level, and the one of the specific characteristic during the feeding of this caterpillar is that the destruction is much more than their actual feeding because they cut the seedling from ground level. This is the caterpillar of the cutworm, and this is the adult moth of cutworm. After the male female mating, the female moth lay their eggs on earth clods, chickpea stem base, and on both sides of the leaves. And then larva goes into the pupation, and pupation occurs in earthen cocoons in soil. This is the nature of damage. How this caterpillar actually feeding in field condition. The family of this pest is Noctuidae. Hence, the caterpillar and moth both are in a nocturnal in habit. It means that in daytime or during daytime, it is hide in we can say that the in soil cracks or crevices in soils or in the plant debris, and feed only during in night by cutting the seedling near the ground levels. The caterpillars remains the soil at the depth of 2 to 4 inches. The caterpillar cut the tender plants at the base and branches or stems growing plants. The caterpillar dragged the cut parts into the soils for feeding, and buried of the stems and branches is almost the sure index of the place where the caterpillar is hiding. I have already told you the destruction is much more than their actual feeding. It means that these caterpillars, it is present in soil just near the stem or in roots, and they cut the seedling from the ground level and causes severe yield loss. These are some of the management practices we can follow for the management of the cutworm in the gram field. The first and most important practice is that the heaps of green grasses may be kept at suitable interval in infested field during evening and collect the next day in early in the morning along with the caterpillar and destroy. This is a simple technique. What is that? The green grasses or make the bundles of the green grasses, or this bundle of the grasses we can put up in the infested fields of the gram at the evening condition, and we can collect this bundle of green grasses at the morning. What happen here? The caterpillar, it is a nocturnal, okay, and after the morning or in the morning condition, the caterpillar, it is hide in that heap of green grasses or in that bundle of grasses. We can collect these bundles, and they should have we can say that the number of caterpillars inside that heap of bundle grasses, and we can destroy all the caterpillars which is present in that bundle of bundle or the heap of green grasses by our own way. Then clean cultivation and mechanical destruction of the caterpillar also helps in the reducing the pest infestation, because the caterpillars and the pupa is occurs in the soils, and clean cultivation is helps to reduce these two different stages. Deep summer plowing, it will helps to kill the different life stages present in the soils. Then adopt crop rotation with non-host crop. Early sowing in the last week of October. Then intercropping with wheat or linseed or mustard reduce the infestation of the this pest. Then do not grow tomato or ladyfinger in nearby field, because the tomato and the ladyfinger, it is another susceptible host for cutworm. Grow marigold on the bunds, because here the marigold is act as a trap crop or border crop for the cutworm. The adult insect can be controlled by the light trap, I have already told you. Then you can use a poison bait technique, carbaryl poison bait technique. We can use a 5% carbaryl poison bait at the rate of 25 to 60 kg per hectare what happen here? How we can make this poison bait? We can take a 1 kg carbaryl 50 vegetable powder plus 10 kg wheat bran or plus 1 kg jaggery and sufficient amount of water, and this poison bait we can install, we can put up in our infested fields. This due to the wheat bran and the jaggery, the caterpillar attracted toward that poison bait, and it can be eat by them and it will be killed. Then apply linden dust, or also we can apply the forate or fenvalerate or chloropyrifos before planting of the crop. Then we can also spray the crop with quinolphos or propanophos. These are some of the management practices for the cutworm in gram. Then next minor pulses is field bean. These are some of the major and minor pests of the field bean, but in that only the pod borer, the pod bugs and the aphids are the major pest. This is the first major pest of the field bean, pod borer, Aedes atkinsoni. It is a Lepidopteran pest. Hence, the adult is moth. The female moth lay their eggs on the plant parts, and after the hatching from the eggs, the caterpillar is emerged out, and the caterpillar is the damaging stage of the pod borer. In this slide, a picture we can see here the caterpillar. It is damaging stage, and the caterpillar attack on the pods by making the small hole on the surface of the pods, and the caterpillar feeding on the developing grains of the field beans. As a result of feeding, in case of severe infestation, the grain become choppy, or the grain become unfit for human consumption, or it become shriveled. It means that the yield is directly reduced. These are the some of the infested pods of the field bean. The caterpillar make these small holes on the surface of the pods and feeding inner content of the that pods. Then next pest is aphids. It is also one of the major sucking pests near about all the pulse crop. The species is Aphis craccivora. The aphid, it is reproduced by means of parthenogenetically. It means that the female aphid, it is directly gives birth to the young one instead of the egg laying. Okay. Then the damaging stage of aphid is that both nymphs and adult, because it is a sucking pest or hemipteran pest. Here the both nymphs and adults suck the cells from the tender plant parts like leaves, flower buds, flowers and the pods. When this pest is suck the cells from these all the different succulent plant parts, the plant lose their turgidity or lose their vitality as a result of feeding. In case of severe infestation, the infested plant parts become yellowish in appearance and dries up. Then instead of the feeding or beside feeding, both nymphs and adults of the aphids, it is excrete a honeydew-like substance or sugary material, and that sugary material or honeydew-like substance responsible for the development of black sutimal fungus on the different infested plant parts, and the infested plant parts become blackish in appearance because on that the Capnodium species, that is the fungus species, develop on that plant parts, and it directly affect on the photosynthetic rate, and photosynthesis of that particular infested plant is reduced and yield is indirectly reduced. And then this is the pod bug. Here the pod bugs, it is also the hemipteran pest. It means that it is the sucking pest, and these are the two species of the pod bugs which infest the pulse crop. Here the damaging stages are also both nymphs and adult. Both nymphs and adults suck the cells from the developing pods, and as a result of feeding, in case of severe infestation, the pod become dries and the seed become shrivels and unfit for human consumption. For the control of these for these two, both the sucking pests, aphids and pod bugs, we can spray the crop with the different systemic insecticides. The systemic insecticides such as we can say that the imidacloprid, thiamethoxam, aciphates are the some of the, or dimethoate are the some of the recommended insecticides against the for that sucking pest. For the control of the aphids, we can also use a Verticillium leekeni. It is very effective biopesticides. Then ladybird beetle. This is another predators for the aphids. Then next crop is cowpea. Here the cowpea have a number of major and minor pests, but in that the cowpea aphids is also one of the major pests, I have already told you, this is the another same species Aphis craccivora, which also infests the coffee crop and attack on the different tender plant parts by sucking the cell sap, and the plant or the succulent plant part become dries up and yellowish in color. Then this is also, I have told you, the pod bugs. It also attack in the cowpea crop. That also both nymphs and adults suck the cells up from the developing pods, and the pods become dries up and the seeds become shrivels and unfit for human consumption. The next one is a green gram and black gram, pest of green gram and black gram. Here, this is the major pest of green gram, black gram, or the soybean also. That is the stem fly. It is a fly, hence the order is the Diptera. And when the pest comes under the order of the Diptera, having a 4 life stages: egg, larva, pupa, and adult. But the larval stage of the Dipterum pest is called as maggots, and maggots is nothing but the legless larva. And the adult of the Dipterum pest is called as fly. This fly is look like a house fly, but there is a short difference in that this is the golden color fly, or we can say that the gray color fly. This fly lay their eggs on the plant parts or on the shoots, and after the hatching from the eggs, the maggots enter into the tender shoots or boring into the tender shoots and feeding inner content of the shoots. As a result of feeding, in case of severe infestation, in this picture you can see here, the withering and drooping of the leaves at early stage, and at later stage withering and drooping of the stem is also occur. It means that the whole plant become collapsed due to the continuous feeding by the maggots inside the stem, hence known as a stem fly. Then these are some of the recommended insecticides against the stem fly. That is the imidacloprid, thiamethoxam. These two chemical we can spray with the help of these two chemical with the recommended dose at a regular interval. Then next is same, that is the Aphis craccivora. This is the Aphid species, also infests near about all the crops of pulse, and I have already told you about that Aphids. Then how we control the Aphids, that is I have already told you. We can use a ladybird beetle, that is nothing but the one of the major predators against the aphids. And for botanical pesticides, we can spray the crop with azadirachtin or 5% neem seed kernel extract. Then imidacloprid and thiamethoxam are the recommended chemical pesticides against the aphids. Then this is another major sucking pest of the near about all the crop, that is the white fly, Bemisia tabaci. After the male female mating, the female whitefly lay their eggs on the leaves, and after the hatching from the eggs, the nymphs emerge out, and the nymphs are crawler in nature because they have a legless. Then after the nymphs development, the nymphs goes into the pupation. The pupa is called as pseudopupa. Okay, here the nymphs and adult both are damaging stages. Both nymphs and adults suck the cells up from the tender leaves, and the leaves become yellowish in color. And in this picture we can see here, this is nothing but the mosaic in appearance of the leaves due to the feeding of this pest. Instead of the feeding, this pest is act as a vector for cowpea yellow vein mosaic virus disease in the cowpea, and this is the another symptoms of damage of this pest. How we can manage this white fly? The first and major technique is that we can use a yellow sticky trap for the monitoring purpose. We can install the 25 to 30 yellow sticky trap per acre in the pulse crop. The adult whitefly attracted towards this yellow sticky trap. Then if we go for the chemical control, we can spray the crop with imidacloprid, thiamethoxam, like that. Then this is the pest, that is the name is death-headed moth, Achrantia styx. It is the Lepidoptera pest. The most important things about this pest is that the female moth lays their eggs on the surface of the leaves, and after hatching from the eggs, the caterpillars emerge out. And in this picture you can see here, the caterpillar having these some of the features. There is a hook-like structures which is present on the 8 abdominal segments of the body of this caterpillar. And the caterpillar is very voraciously feeder in nature. The caterpillar, it is completely feeding the all the leaves of the pulse crop, and the leaves become skeletonized and defoliation is occurs. For the management practices of this moth or the caterpillar, we can spray the crop with chloropyrifos, propanofos, or phenvalerate. Or also we can collect the mechanically the different grown up larva of this pest, and we can destroy by our own way. And this is the last phase, that is the pod borer, which infests the near about we can say that the green gram and black gram both crop. Here the caterpillar is the damaging stage. The caterpillar enter by making the small hole on the surface of the pods and enter into the that parts of the green gram and black gram and feeding on the developing seeds, and the seeds become unfit for human consumption. Then excreta is also seen in that infested parts, and the yield is very much is reduced in that green gram and black gram. These are the some of the symptoms, that is the borehole on the surface of the pods, and the pods here the pods it with few undamaged seeds. Then how we can manage this pest? These are the some of the recommended insecticides against the pod borer in green gram and black gram, that is spinosad, flubendiamide, chlorantraniliprole, and imamectin benzoates. We can spray with the help of this chemical with a recommended dose at an regular interval. Thank you.